Hey, what's ready? Welcome back to News Dose. And Xbox, they had a fairly busy day today. They initially gave us some very good news. They are indeed listening to their fans after all, but then they kind of followed that up with some bad news as well. So it's been quite a day for them and also for us fans. And we're going to get into all of that, plus Nintendo's latest showcase. First, though, I do want to thank my supporters on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Thank you just so much for what you do, and you will receive this video through early access. Let's go get right into things, though, starting off with a brand new studio that's currently creating a lot of buzz online. Red Octane Games just announced that they established a new rhythm game studio led by genre veterans who helped create and to scale Guitar Hero and DJ Hero. I mean, for me, when I hear about Guitar Hero, it's kind of hard for me to believe that it's been 20 years since Guitar Hero took over the hearts of people across the world. And for the people that weren't there at the time, maybe they're not necessarily aware of just how popular that series was, but it was a legit cultural phenomenon back during that time. I mean, by 2010, the series had surpassed 25 million units sold and had generated more than $2 billion. Now, for whatever reason, though, Activision was never able to sustain its popularity over time, and since that point, there's really not been another rhythm game that's recaptured that same magic. So that's why a lot of people are currently optimistic about this new studio, and it sounds like we're not going to have to wait all that long to see what they're up to. They said that they will announce their first game later this year, and that they're focused on advancing the rhythm game genre, combining the past with the future. So, could they tie in some instruments once again like we used to see with Guitar Hero and Rock Band? Maybe, but we'll see here soon enough. Now, moving on, though, Nintendo held their Indie World Showcase today, and we're going to quickly go over some of the highlights. First up is Hollow Knight Silksong. Yeah, it wasn't actually there. Sorry about that. But they did have a few cool announcements, including Mina the Hollower. Now, we've actually seen this game before, but in case you haven't, or maybe you just forgot, this is an incredible looking RPG that's inspired by old Game Boy games. I mean, it comes from the creators of Shovel Knight, so I mean, we know that they can make a good game. And this one, just by the looks of it, this could be another instant classic. I'm honestly super excited about this game. Probably one of my more anticipated games, if I'm being honest with you all. There is a demo available, and its release date is officially set for October 31st. Now, Neverway is also a cool-looking pixel art RPG that's inspired by retro games. Now, this one has a really unique vibe to it. They're describing it as a blend of horror, a life simulator, and an RPG. So definitely a unique sounding game, if anything else. And like I said, I honestly like the way this one looks. So we'll be out sometime in 2026. Then UFO 50 also got its official announcement for the Nintendo Switch. This is actually one of the best rated games from last year. It has a 91 overall score on Metacritic, and I mean, really for a very good reason. It's a collection of 50 completely different games, and I'm not talking about small mini games either. I'm talking about full-fledged games that you could expect to see back during the 80s and even the 90s. And that's because UFO 50 is kind of a recreated retro console with 50 games from the same company. It's a really neat idea and just very well executed. Definitely don't sleep on this one. Go check it out, and in fact, it's actually available right now as we speak. And then the last game that I want to highlight is Well Dweller. Now, this is yet another Metroidvania, and I completely understand. This genre has become a little oversaturated these past few years, but I think this one looks pretty good. You play as a bird in a very dark, horror-driven world. The art style is quite striking, to say the least, and the combat looks, I'd say, pretty good as well. So I'm going to mark this one down as one of those games that if it plays as good as it looks, then yeah, we could be in for a treat when it releases sometime in 2026. Overall, though, I thought this showcase was just okay. They had a few other games there, such as Glacier. It's a game that's set a million years in the future, but you play as an evolved dinosaur, bird-like creature. You're underwater, and you battle sea monsters. it's a cool idea, but overall, I mean, I just thought that this showcase was okay. Definitely better than their last Indie World showcase, and I'll go and give this one a B minus. Let me hear what letter grade you would give it, though, in the comments below. All right, so let's just go and move on over to the Xbox news, because we do have two big stories to talk about today. The first of which is actually very, very welcome news. Now, this follows up our topic from yesterday's video. Now, if you missed that video, Xbox fans were starting to demand answers for what's going on with Forza Motorsport. The Turn 10 Twitter account hadn't made a post since July 10th of last month, and with their studio being majorly impacted by the recent Microsoft layoffs, there was a concern that maybe the future of Forza Motorsport was nearing its end. We were even hearing rumors that they had essentially been turned into a support studio for Forza Horizon. Well, I'm happy to say that they have now responded to those demands online. You can see their official response here, which reads, "Dear Forza community, we know many of you have questions about what's next for the Forza franchise, and we appreciate the support of our incredible community. We wanted to assure players that Turn 10 and Playground Games will continue to support Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon 5. To start, here's more info about what's coming next to Forza Motorsport." Now, if you visit that website, they announced Track Toys Tour for Forza, which is available today, and they also have the Ringer Tour set for September. And this is kind of what I mentioned yesterday about Forza Motorsport being a live service game. The thing is that, yes, there were rumors about them being turned into a support studio for Forza Horizon, which I do believe they're helping out with the next Forza Horizon. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that Forza Motorsports has transitioned more towards being a live service game, and that means that they don't necessarily need to make a brand new Forza Motorsport game anytime soon. So even with the recent layoffs and the rumors about them supporting Forza Horizon, they can still work on Forza Motorsports for years and years to come. And in fact, they also mentioned Playground Games. They're helping out with Forza Motorsport as well. So just think about it this way. Mario Kart 8 spanned across two consoles for more than a decade. It launched back in 2014 for the Wii U, and we didn't get a brand new installment until the Switch 2 released just this year. Instead, what Nintendo did is that they released new tracks and new characters over its lifespan, and that very much worked for that game. Racing games does fit that live service model very well, so as long as Forza has an active community, then they can easily do the same thing for years and years and years to come. Racing sims don't necessarily need a brand new entry every couple years because they do fit that live service model very well. The same can be said for Gran Turismo. They can simply update them, which could actually even include a visual enhancement for the next Xbox console/PC. Now, Forza Horizon is a little bit different just because its locations are a big part of its identity. So they like to go to just completely different regions, and that does require a brand new installment every once in a while. I'm actually hoping to see Japan in the future. Fingers crossed for that. But whatever the case may be, we can now rest assured that Forza Motorsport still has a future. Now, on to the bad news, though, because unfortunately, Contraband is the latest Xbox cancellation. Yeah, they've been busy with cancellations here recently, and I mean, there for a while, it kind of seemed like this game was going to make it out okay. A recent job listing did indicate that it was fine, but I guess not after all. Though, I will be honest, I'm not necessarily overly shocked by this outcome. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of outrage online, which is to be expected just with so many cancellations in a short period of time. I mean, it's definitely not a good thing. But at the same time, I do try to look at things objectively, and the thing about Contraband was that it was in development for a long time, and we never saw gameplay or really anything about this game. So we have no idea how Contraband was shaping up, or if it even had a target date for the nearest future. And if you look at Microsoft's three big cancellations, Perfect Dark, which that one definitely hurt me. I do have an attachment to that franchise. Then there was Everwild, and now Contraband. And they all have those two things in common. They had been in development for a long time with no sign of a nearish release. So we all know that Microsoft has been forcing some tough cuts. And they're looking at these companies right now that aren't producing, And I think that's where these decisions are coming from. Now, whether we agree with those decisions or not, that's a completely different story. I'm just trying to put things into perspective of what Microsoft is probably looking at. Now, like I said, though, I mean, we never really saw much about this game, so I never had an emotional attachment for this specific title. Its big selling point was that it comes from the creators of the Just Cause series, and that it was a live service heist game. That's pretty much all we knew about it, and that's where the online reaction is going to be very interesting for this announcement. I think the reaction that we're seeing online right now is more because they've canceled a lot of games just over a short period of time, rather than, you know, there being illegitimate hype for this specific title. This, to me, would kind of compare to if Sony were to cancel Fair Games as one such example. I wouldn't really be outraged in the sense that that game doesn't interest me, but it is still frustrating all at the same time, just because, you know, Xbox and Sony could have maybe routed those funds to a different project that could have been a little bit more interesting and maybe something that we could have eventually played. So it's kind of like a sports team analyzing talent. You know, Xbox and Sony just aren't spotting the right games, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's just my point of view, though. But even still, I do feel for the developers that were impacted by this decision. I know this will hurt them. They've been working this game for a long time, and I hope they bounce back as soon as possible. Let me hear what you all think about this cancellation, though, in the comments below. Are you disappointed? And just how do you feel about Xbox canceling so many games in such a short period of time? Anyways, though, that's going to be this episode. But until next time, make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and peace out.